In this video, we'll take a deep dive into what it looks like to sell wholesale. We'll also look at what makes a good wholesale product and the opportunities that are out there for us. I touched a little bit on this topic in my how I sell my woodworking projects. I'll link in a card up above here. Check that out if you haven't. There's a lot of great information in it. So I think whether you're a fine woodworker, a CNC machinist, or a maker of any kind, there's a lot of great information and there's a lot of opportunities out there for us. It looks different for every person, but I believe that there's opportunities that we're leaving on the table. All right, I want to preface this entire video with this. Wholesale is not about creating cheaper products, cutting corners. That is a surefire way to fail. The word wholesale sometimes has this negative connotation with cheap products being produced at mass scales, but that's not the wholesale that we're talking about. But just for a second, let's take a look at the products around us. It's highly likely that every one of them was not made by the business or person that you bought them from. And that's just the way the world economy works. So you may not think that that is true in the woodworking artisan niche, but it is. A lot of the products that are sold are businesses that are flourishing, that are doing well, are buying products, artisan products from other people and selling them through their brand. There are a couple companies out there that I'm aware of that actually do this as their business. They are the middleman. They connect artisans with retailers. I just point that out as a indicator that there is a large market out there for it, and I don't think that a lot of people know about it. So I want to shed some light on it. So every product has the capability of being sold on a wholesale scale or scaling up and making more of them. Wholesale doesn't have one all-encompassing definition. It can look different for you, it can look different for me. Selling 5 of something might be wholesale to one person, and selling 5,000 of something is wholesale to another. Also, what I've found is that value, the product value, doesn't dictate the ability for it to be sold on a higher scale or wholesale scale. Just taking a plain example, an easy example, cars. I don't have the ability to wholesale a bunch of cars, right? But there was someone over 100 years ago that found out how to do that. Henry Ford figured out that there was demand for his product, and he figured out how to mass produce them. Obviously, that's a pretty high value. It's important to note that it's usually demand that drives production. If you don't have demand, there's no reason to drive production. So our goal as business owners, as people who make things and sell them, is to figure out the demand or create the demand. All right, so let's jump right into what makes a particular product a good wholesale product. All right, so the 4 I came up with are demand, price point, the ability to scale, and shipping. I'm sure that there are other ones. These aren't the only 4 by any means. So be sure to share what you're thinking down in the comments. I would love to hear about them, and I know other people watching would love to hear about them too, and that's really how we grow and share knowledge. So be sure to do that. So let's take these one at a time. Demand is number 1, and guess what? I've already went over demand. If there is no demand, why make a product? So that's why people really struggle. It's really, really hard to, like, us as artisans to think something in your brain, completely original product, and then we send it out to the world to buy it, and it doesn't sell. Or we sell 4 a year, and we can't live on $200 a year. Not that you can't do those things. Like, there's a place for those things. But if you want to be successful and actually make a reoccurring income, something that's a little more predictable, I think it's a good idea to mix both together. Have some wholesale, have some of your own creations, and who knows, maybe one of those takes off. But demand is important. Price point. So there's some questions that we have to ask ourselves. How long does it take me to make these products? That's the first question we should ask ourselves. How long does it take? So based on what that product is selling for, the value of it, we have to ask ourselves, if I can make X of these in X amount of time, is that worth my time? If it's not a good fit for you, just get rid of that opportunity, because this isn't about just being busy. Like, we want to make money, right? Or I could keep myself super busy to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'm making all this money, and I'm not. I'm just making money for other people. So it has to be worth your time. All right, a specific scenario is take an 8-hour workday. If you can only make 5 of an item in an 8-hour workday, but those items only profit you $5 each, that's only $25 for a 8-hour workday. I don't know about you, but it doesn't sound very good to me. All right, take that same scenario and say you made $100 off each one of those 5 items. That's $500 in an 8-hour workday. Now, that sounds a lot better to me. I'm not saying that that is what I aim for, but I'm just comparing the two scenarios. So price point is key. You got to do your research and see what an item will retail for, what it wholesales for. Usually, this is a guideline, usually wholesale is 40 to 50% of the retail value. So what I like to do is I like to work backwards. Okay, this product should retail for this. That means it should wholesale for this. And that's what I aim for my wholesale prices. How many can I make in a certain amount of time? Okay, that's worth my time. All right, ability to scale. This is something that's important, and it's about coming up with efficient processes that lead to repeatability. There's some items that just take longer to produce, whether that is there's a bottleneck in the sanding and finishing, it's more hands-on. Time is money. I think we need to realize that just because something takes less time doesn't mean it's less quality. I mean, this isn't wine. This isn't cheese. These are products, and if you can produce them the same quality at higher speeds, that's a good thing. All right, the next one I mentioned, super important. This is the one I've struggled with the most, and other people that are doing similar things to me have struggled with, is material suppliers. This is so different in everybody's area. It might be easy for you. It might be more difficult for me. I have several material suppliers, mainly dealing in wood. Wood is a tough one. You have to make sure that it's dry, seasoned. You have to make sure that it's a consistent color if a customer wants a specific color. And you have to make sure that that is true for the foreseeable future. And so you can have the perfect deal lined up with all these things, with demand, price point, scaling them, like all that's great. But if you do not have the materials to make the products, nothing else matters. Do your research before you make a product and present it to somebody. Make sure either that wood species is readily available. Make sure that you can get the concrete. Make sure you have a metal supplier. Whatever you're doing, my rule of thumb is have more than one supplier for a particular item. That way, if one runs out of stock, you have a backup. I've thrown a lot of information at you. I hope you found it helpful, or at least has offered you a different perspective of something that it is successful. I'm doing this myself. This isn't me just talking about something that I haven't done. All right, there's a secret sauce that goes through all of this. It really should be more common in our day and age. But the number one important thing when you're working with retailers on a wholesale level is relationships. If you strive to make genuine relationships where you care about the success of the other person as much as you care about your own success, you treat them right. With that and the ability to answer these two questions, I think you'll find success. Ask yourself, what is your competitive advantage? You're unique. You have a story. You have talents that I don't have. Use those. Leverage those. And what problems can you solve for someone else that no one else can? Like I said at the beginning, if you like this video, be sure to check out this video too. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.